No brain, no thoughts. Yet they've survived for millions of years. These creatures rely on astonishing survival tricks instead of intelligence. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Clams. Clams are animals that spend their entire lives protected inside two hard shells. They belong to a group of mollusks called bivalves, sharing the family with oysters, mussels, and scallops. Using a powerful hinge, a clam can quickly open or close its shell to feed or shield itself from danger. What's even more surprising is that a clam has no brain. Instead, it relies on a simple nervous system to sense its surroundings and control its body. Even without a brain, everything inside works with remarkable efficiency. A clam has a mouth, a stomach, kidneys, a nervous system, and even a beating heart, all functioning automatically without conscious thought. These shellfish are found in oceans, rivers, and lakes around the world, making them one of the most widespread aquatic animals on Earth. Hidden inside two simple shells is a body that's been quietly succeeding for hundreds of millions of years. Sometimes survival isn't about being smart, it's about being perfectly adapted to your environment. Oysters. Oysters are the shellfish capable of creating one of the world's rarest natural treasures. Like clams, oysters are bivalve mollusks, protected by two hard shells. But they're best known for something hidden deep inside, a natural pearl. The catch. Finding a perfectly formed natural pearl is incredibly rare, with the odds estimated at about 1 in a million. Unlike predators, oysters don't hunt for food. Instead, they survive by filtering seawater. As water flows through their bodies, they trap plankton and tiny organic particles, feeding themselves while cleaning the water around them. A single oyster can filter up to 50 gallons of water every day, making oyster reefs one of nature's most effective water purification systems. Like many simple marine animals, oysters have no brain, yet they continue feeding, growing, and quietly protecting coastal ecosystems throughout their lives. Most people remember oysters for their pearls, but the ocean depends on them for something even more valuable. Clean water. Hidden inside those rough shells is one of nature's quietest environmental heroes. Sea urchins. Sea urchins are spiky animals that survive perfectly well, without a brain. One careless step on one with bare feet is something you'll never forget. The good news is that most sea urchins outside South Florida aren't poisonous. Even without a brain, these strange creatures move with surprising precision. Instead of muscles, they use a water-powered system that controls hundreds of tiny tube feet, letting them crawl across rocks and cling tightly to almost any surface. Their anatomy is just as unusual. The mouth sits underneath the body, where they scrape algae from rocks to eat, while waste exits through an opening on top, an arrangement unlike almost any other animal. As they graze, sea urchins remove excess algae, helping keep rocky reefs balanced and healthy for countless marine species. Instead of relying on intelligence, sea urchins rely on a body perfectly built for survival. Sometimes evolution doesn't need a brain, it just needs the right design. Corals. Corals are animals that build entire underwater cities without having a brain. Many people mistake corals for plants because they remain attached to the same spot for life. But they're actually living animals belonging to the Ctenidaria family, the same group as jellyfish. Like their jellyfish relatives, they have soft bodies and tiny stinging tentacles used to catch food and defend themselves. Unlike plants, corals can't make their own food. They have to hunt. A coral reef is built by thousands of tiny animals called coral polyps. Each polyp extends its tentacles to catch drifting zooplankton before pulling the food into its mouth. Every polyp feeds and grows on instinct, and together with millions of others, they slowly build the massive coral reefs that become home to countless marine species. One tiny polyp may seem insignificant, but millions working together have created some of the most important ecosystems on Earth, a reminder that nature's greatest achievements don't always require a brain, just perfect teamwork. Sea lilies. Sea lilies are animals that look so much like plants that most people never realize they're alive. Even though they resemble underwater flowers, sea lilies are actually brainless marine animals related to starfish, sea urchins, and sea cucumbers. Most of their lives are spent anchored to the ocean floor, gently waving their feathery arms in the current to catch food drifting by. But they're not completely rooted in place. When food becomes scarce, sea lilies can slowly crawl to a better feeding spot, reaching speeds of up to 140 meters per hour, about the length of 1.5 football fields. At the center of the body is a small mouth that collects tiny particles from the water. They feed on organic debris and microscopic organisms, drifting through the current, helping recycle nutrients and keep the seafloor ecosystem healthy. Most modern sea lilies grow to around 30 inches long, but fossils reveal that their ancient ancestors could reach an astonishing 80 feet in length, making them some of the largest creatures of their kind ever to exist. They've watched entire species appear and disappear, surviving quietly, while the oceans around them changed again and again. Sometimes, the greatest survivors aren't the fastest or the smartest. They're simply the ones perfectly built to endure. Sea cucumbers. Sea cucumbers are brainless animals with a defense powerful enough to harm humans. Their soft, leathery bodies may look harmless, but some species can release a toxic chemical called holothurine. If it gets into a person's eyes, it can cause permanent blindness, making these slow-moving creatures far more dangerous than they appear. Scientists have discovered more than 1,000 species of sea cucumbers. Many live deep beneath the ocean, and some can even swim as high as 3,300 feet above the seafloor before slowly drifting back down. Without a brain, every movement is guided by instinct. Tiny tube feet around their mouths gather plankton, algae, small invertebrates, and organic debris from the seafloor, recycling nutrients that help keep the ocean healthy. Even more surprisingly, some sea cucumbers can reproduce both sexually and asexually, allowing them to thrive in a wide range of environments. They may look slow and defenseless, but beneath that soft body is a survival strategy that's worked for millions of years. Nature proves once again that intelligence isn't the only path to survival. Starfish. Starfish are sea creatures with no brain, and they're not actually fish. Unlike real fish, they can't swim. Instead, they spend almost their entire lives slowly crawling across the ocean floor. If you ever see one washed onto a beach, it's there by accident, not by choice. Scientists have identified more than 2,000 species of starfish in a wide variety of colors, shapes, and sizes. While many have the familiar 5 arms, some species can grow as many as 40 spiny arms. Even without a brain, starfish can still sense the world around them. At the tip of each arm is a tiny eye that detects light and darkness. Combined with simple sensory cells, these eyes help starfish find food and avoid danger without ever needing a brain. But their most incredible ability appears when disaster strikes. If a predator tears off one of their arms, many starfish can simply grow it back. Some species can even regenerate an entirely new body from a single surviving arm. For most animals, losing a limb could mean the end. For a starfish, it's simply the beginning of a new one, a remarkable survival strategy that's kept these brainless creatures thriving for millions of years. Portuguese man of war. The Portuguese man of war looks like a jellyfish, but it isn't. This strange ocean drifter is actually a colony of specialized animals called zooids, all connected by living tissue and working together as one. Each zooid has a specific job. Some capture prey, others digest food, reproduce, or keep the colony afloat. Alone, none of them could survive. Together, they function as what appears to be a single animal. The man of war is famous for its long venomous tentacles, which deliver painful stings powerful enough to paralyze fish and other prey. But even this dangerous predator has enemies it can't stop. Sea turtles regularly feast on Portuguese man-of-wars because their thick skin protects them from the venom, allowing them to eat the tentacles without harm. When birds circle overhead looking for an easy meal, the colony has another clever defense. It releases gas from its floating bladder and sinks beneath the surface, staying out of reach until the danger has passed. It's not one animal, but thousands of tiny specialists working together as a single living machine. Sometimes survival isn't about intelligence. It's about perfect teamwork. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.